We're gonna call this,
I'm struggling.
get everybody to quiet down for a minute. She did, I think. Scott?
Transparency does
What the
not
kids say,
I'm gonna keep
one,
working on it.
Hey, Scott, we'll make sure.
three.
Bam, bam.
They not listening, they not listening.
We don't operate that way.
They did it, I thought they announced it. So if I can get everybody just to quiet down just for a minute, we wanna get started.
We got two new sergeants on, Pam and Beth.
So, the Ways and Means meeting will come to order. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Yes, Alderwoman Davis, Alderman Moore,
Here.
Alderman Vaccaro,
Present.
Alderwoman Howard,
Present.
Alderwoman Murphy. Here. Alderwoman Boyd,
Here,
Alderman Muhammad. Chairman Conway. Six
Oh, you're
present,
fine.
you have a quorum.
What we're gonna do first is, because one, I wanna get a vote. So, we're gonna do Board Bill 12, everybody has it in front of them. We do this every year. It allows the comptroller's office to borrow against the possibility of, to borrow against taxes that have not been collected in anticipation of that. If anybody has questions, I'll do my best to answer them, but it's, it is what it is. They have to be able to borrow money that hasn't been, they borrow against money that has in anticipation of money, taxes to collect. So, does anyone have questions? Yes, Carol?
My question is, do we know what the anticipated revenue, there's all this hubbub out there about the property tax being more. I understand that a lot of those property taxes are allocated for our schools
Right.
and the senior fund.
I sent out a,
I saw it. But what I'm saying is, if we're gonna borrow money, why don't, if we know what we have, or we can anticipate what we're having come in revenue-wise, why can't we borrow enough to
well, that's what this does.
deal with our public safety issues? That's just,
That's what this does. This is borrowing in anticipation of,
I understand that, but are we borrowing enough to really cover this, or
We can't-
are we borrowing
No.
just enough to get
no,
by?
we have to borrow to pay our bills. And so, because these are taxes that haven't been
I
collected.
understand, that's not my question. My
Okay.
question is, we're borrowing enough to pay what we know, but if we want to add to our budget, is there money anticipated?
No.
Wait a minute, let me finish my question before you answer it, please. If we borrow, if we anticipate we're gonna have more revenue, can we borrow as much as we anticipate to do things to fully fund the budget, such as public safety issues, or not?
So what they do is, they borrow what they believe they can, and at the end of the year, at the end of the 2018 budget, if they borrow too much, they gotta put money back. If they haven't
Right.
borrowed enough, they can borrow money against,
Following you.
But either way, it's gotta come to be even at the end. There is that $2,600,000 that was taken out of the budget that will come back to us, probably around October.
Is that for the extra pay period, or no?
No, that is the money that they use
Use
tax
tax,
money.
okay, okay.
And that will come back and be plugged into the budget
Okay,
in a way that, could make sense. And, but this is something we do every year, and it just allows them to
I
be able to pay the
understand. I'm
bills.
just asking that question, if we could borrow, if we anticipate more money, can we borrow more money?
No, we have to stay balanced too.
So we don't anticipate any more money?
Well, no, that's not actually true, because if they see partway through the year that, baseball's gotten a World Series and there's more money coming in, they can get
Allocate
more.
more.
It's
Okay.
just like our home budget.
We'll
We
talk
do
about
the
this
best.
offline later.
Okay, that'd be
Okay,
fine.
I got
So
the
is there
answer.
any other questions on Board Bill number 12? If seeing none, I'll make the motion that we pass Board Bill 12 out with a due. Seconded. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderwoman Davis, Alderman Moore, Alderman Vaccaro,
Aye.
Alderwoman Howard,
Aye.
Alderwoman Murphy. Alderwoman Boyd,
Aye.
Alderman Muhammad,
Aye.
Chairman Conway. 6 aye votes do pass.
Okay, so for those that have to go make a quorum at HUD, we do have something, there's not gonna be any other votes anyway, so we won't be doing previous rolls, but if you want, if anybody has to go over to make a quorum, I think what we'll do is, you know, see, the problem is I think a lot of people are going to talk to the streets department and all that. But if they need you to make a quorum, what I might do, Steve, is kind of keep you up there for a little bit, and you might end up getting some of the same questions. So if you need to be over in Hudson to make a quorum, why don't you go over and do it, and then just come on right back. And I think what we'll do is, John, are you on HUD's too? Or?
No.
Okay. So,
No, not yet.
Steve, why don't you go ahead and just kind of give us the overall view?
Okay, we're obviously the street department. I'll introduce the people I have here. We have 510, which is the street director's office. That includes the inspectors, the 50/50 sidewalk program, and the sewer lateral program, and Kent supervises some of those people also.
Okay.
We have traffic division, which is 511. That's Deanna Banker. She's the commissioner there. That's all the street lighting, signals, signing, striping, and any small studies that go on. 513 is the toll lot. Kent does some of that supervision there too. Then we have 514, which is street division, and Kent Flake's the street superintendent. That's all the paving and patching and street cleaning and wharf cleaning and whatever else comes up. And then 516, we have Nick Young, Commissioner of Refuse. So that's our division.
Okay, and anything exciting in the budget?
No, the budget's basically, everybody lost a few vacant positions to help match, balance the budget. Probably the biggest, in 510, we lost we're gonna lose a typist clerk, which to be honest, isn't a big loss because of, with all the online applications and stuff now, we don't need as much, person help. The big cut there is the school crossing guards. They cut $100,000 out of that budget. So my understanding is, and you all know, the public schools got a huge increase, so they're gonna approach them to fund that. And the mayor's office is approaching them. What they're saying is, if you give us the money, $100,000, we can manage the program and supervise it like we have for years. So,
Steve, and then I'm gonna let everybody else ask questions and
Sure.
kind of also do comments, because we got plenty of time this morning. Those positions that you're cutting, were they unfilled anyway?
yes, well, the typist clerk, one position was filled.
So you're actually getting rid of a person?
Yes. She's ready to retire. She's 74 years old.
Well, God bless her.
I know.
So let me just kind of start with, Davis Moore's not here, he'll be back. Okay. Carol, you're, Alderwoman Howard, you're first. So, you do comments, questions, it don't matter.
So I see we've left a little bit of money in the school crossing guard fund. Is that just to keep that account open? Or?
Is to keep it open, and to be honest, there are school crossing guards for parochial schools
Okay,
that they want to try and help keep fun. And
okay.
there's like, God, what is there, 20-some school crossing guards, and they're throughout the city. And 26, and 23 of them are public schools,
Okay,
so they want to try and supplement that money.
okay. I mean, it's insignificant what's there. I mean,
Right, yes.
we could buy some light bulbs.
LED ones.
Right. I don't have any other questions.
Alderwoman Murphy?
No, I don't think I have any questions. You said that, they had an increase in funding, but we are still gonna fund the crossing guards, or we're gonna ask them to
We're
fund that?
gonna ask them to fund it.
So but it sounded like you said before, if we give them 100,000,
No,
they'll
they
manage
give us
it,
100,000.
and we'll manage it
We'll
for
manage the
that.
program for it. 'cause
Okay,
Our people, done
do
it for
that,
years.
okay, that sounds good. Okay, thank you. That's it.
Well, this is too simple. We're gonna, Alderman Muhammad,
Seeing none.
you have no questions for, we got Kent from street, we got all these people here?
Well, we,
Because we're,
know what we
I'll ask a
need.
bunch of questions, because I'm gonna wait.
Well,
I do wanna get Pam
I'll ask the
Boyd and
commissioner,
more.
not the director.
Right, you can pose your questions
yes.
to anybody in this room,
Okay.
whether it's Deanna, Kent, whoever you choose. Nick Young had a refuge over there. So John, you have questions for any one of them, we'll get them up in the front. I do want to give Sam Moore and Pam
Yeah.
Boyd a chance to come back over.
So since we have time,
We have time. John, did you have questions or?
um,
Also, Carol, then you can go.
I was gonna ask Commissioner Banker,
Deanna, could
this is
you-
kind of off, but
That's okay, we got time.
what is the anticipated completion date on Gravely and getting everything back, or do you have any clue?
I would have to check with MoDOT on that, on their latest. I don't know that their completion
Deanna,
date.
could you, because the cameras can't catch over there.
Maybe she doesn't want to be okay.
Well,
She could be camera shy, but.
thought yesterday was enough.
What'd you do yesterday?
It's an hour and a half.
yeah, she was here.
I would have to check with MoDOT to get their latest and greatest. I think the completion date of their project wasn't until late summer to do the completion of their work, so.
Well, I noticed they moved to the county to pave, so,
And that would be a different contract too.
but I
So,
mean, the signs are up out there, but I'm kinda like, okay,
Right.
so when are we gonna finish
So-
the striping?
yeah, and that should be, and that's a question. That's a question for Michelle, and we can certainly ask that
Okay,
question.
crossing and the crossing safety lights, is that their thing?
I'm
or-
sorry, say that
The crossing safety lights that they anticipate putting in at different intersections that, or do not have stoplights? You know,
Just the mid-block ones?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I know what you're speaking of.
are we doing those, or is that the state?
My understanding is those were in the plans, and that was
Okay.
part of their job,
Okay,
yeah. They, as you see, because that job was broken into a couple different
Right.
pieces and then combined together. So they have a couple different signal jobs and a paving job on top of it. So,
Okay.
a few different contractors doing the work, and they're meshing it all together. 'Cause as you know, the signals aren't done yet. They've kind of been on hold. This paving was done while the weather was great, striping's behind, and then I would just need to check with them and see where they're at.
okay.
I can do that while we're here and hopefully get you
Okay,
an update.
I just, yeah, since we
Absolutely.
got time. Okay,
Okay.
I'm done.
So,
While I'm here? Okay.
Yeah, wait here, please. You spoke about Natural Bridge already. You spoke about Natural Bridge Road, right?
No.
In regards to safety concerns and traffic safety.
We had an email yesterday and I mentioned that it was a state route.
Right, so is MoDOT going to extend any resources to secure that particular road, and any state-maintained road in the city?
What we need to ask MoDOT that question.
So
We
you
can't
haven't had that
demand that.
conversation?
I just got your email last night. I just got your email last night, and I think I copied you in it, copied in MoDOT on that conversation, on that email, and that's the beginning of that conversation.
So the beginning to holding MoDOT accountable just started last night?
Yes.
There's been 7 deaths on Natural Bridge since the beginning of the year. And they're just now expressing interest.
And I get, that's where this conversation has to happen with MoDOT, so we know what their actions have been thus far. I can't speak for MoDOT, and what they have done since then. So there are no immediate steps that I can take.
because it's state maintained?
It is a state-maintained route, and they would need to do their analysis, their funding for what needs to be done. I think they probably need to do a little bit of investigation on what is the cause of those problems, so that the solutions that get put into place are going to correct those type of problems. So there's different solutions for different kinds of crashes.
What is that process?
It depends on who's doing it, if MoDOT is going to do it in-house with their own staff, or if they want to hire that out to a consultant for them to do an analysis on. So there's a couple of different processes that are available.
Thank you.
So, Alderman Moore, you're up, and just to bring up to speed, so far it was just introductions of who else here was, Ken, Frank, Deanna. I'm not, because we got plenty of time this morning. Comments are fine, as well as questions. If you want to talk to the head of any department, we'll just ask them to come up front. So, Alderman Moore, you're on, whatever you got.
Mr. Rodney, sir, can you explain to me the street and traffic liaison person?
That position is currently vacant. That's actually Mike Halsey's job, that he needs to move into that position. He's a foreman 2 now.
As estimator,
As an estimator, yeah.
Foreman 2, same pay grade.
So we leave that in there?
Yes, we're gonna, if he put him in that position, then we need to fill the foreman 2 position and because he's started doing dual jobs now.
And what about the street and traffic inspector supervisor too? What does that person do?
That's Phil. Step up.
Yeah, I prefer you go up.
Yeah.
That job's been filled for approximately 4 or 5 months. He oversees the sewer lateral repair program. He oversees 7 street traffic inspectors.
So we don't have to be notified when you guys fill those, or deplete those positions, right? We don't know anything.
I'm not sure.
Well, when the original budget was submitted, the original TO, it was vacant. And there's not a.
So if he was laid off, you saved some money, or the position wasn't filled, then what do we do with that money?
Street traffic.
Just kind of sit there?
Well, that's,
Yeah, it goes back to, I mean, if we don't spend it, it goes back to general revenue.
Traffic inspection
I'll have
supervisor too.
Along those same lines, a lot of the positions, like they can't fill refuse drivers, so they end up having to transfer that money from the payroll account to overtime to pay other drivers overtime to complete the route. So a lot of times, you don't save the money, because if the position's not filled, someone else needs to step up and do it, and in many occasions, that involves overtime.
What about street and traffic inspector?
There's 9 of those.
That's 9 people?
We've had a rec in for the vacancy for about 6 months. Still waiting on a list from personnel to fill that position.
So you asking for the same budget you asked for last year?
In 510, we eliminated one typist clerk 1 position, and as I mentioned earlier, you'll notice the school crossing guards have been cut by 100,000, almost entirely out. And the reason for that, as I said earlier, the other people is they're approaching the public school system to help fund that now, since they had quite a huge increase last year. I mean, as you noticed in December on your personal property tax. All that, basically that whole increase went to their budget.
Kent, the last time we had the meeting, with BPS, You walked out of the meeting, was that on purpose or you had something else to do?
I had run over to 12th and Park to look at something from the mayor's office.
I've been trying to get in touch with you for about 3 months now. What seems to be the problem? Do we have a personality conflict?
You haven't contacted me.
Huh?
However, you contacted me. My phone in my office has had no messages from
You
you.
have
My
a
cell phone
phone?
and my email hasn't either.
Well, what's your phone number? I'm gonna try it today.
647-3111, extension 1406.
Extension what?
1406.
That's your office number.
Yeah.
Don't give your cell phone over the cameras, but Sam,
So I'm
are you
trying,
asking for a cell number?
I'm trying to get some work done in the ward and I need some Georgia barriers moved and some planters moved. And I can't seem to get that done. When I talk to Mike, he says talk to Deanna, and when I talk to her, they tell me talk to you.
If they're jerseys or concrete barriers, it's all me.
I haven't.
3 months now.
I'm not aware of anything until right now.
Okay, I want to make sure that you are a service provider, right?
Absolutely.
So.
All day, every day.
Conflict between me and you, if there is a personality conflict, it has nothing to do with the citizens that need to be serviced,
I
correct?
don't have a personality conflict with anybody in the city.
Okay. I don't want you to be perceived as,
Because I'm here for
sometimes you're
service.
perceived, you're a big guy, you're perceived as being a bully sometimes, but I want to make sure that you know, we don't have a personality conflict because I service over 12,000 people that need to be serviced by you in that position that you hold.
I service 320,000 people.
I don't have nothing to do with those. I got something to do with the 1,200 that put 12,000 put me in office. And they need to be serviced by you. So I'll be calling that extension today.
They will be serviced as soon as I know something about a problem.
Well, I appreciate it. It seemed to be a position that you can hold hostage. It's only you, so I can't get anybody else to do it. You're like a monopoly.
Well, if he won't do it, you call me.
I hate to bother you. You're a good man. Not that Ken is not. That's all I have.
Well, we're gonna give a minute for Pamela Boyd to come over. Sometimes it does take a long time, and I posed this question to Deanna yesterday, that what if we cut your budget by 25%, what would that do?
What would you want to cut?
Well, so they cut our ward capital by 25%.
Yeah.
And it's gone every year, it gets cut every year. Yet no streets get paved, no alleys get paved. If we're real creative, we do big giant patches, but nothing, I mean, by the time I buy dumpsters that we were told that we wouldn't have to pay for, by the time I pay for LED lights, our streets in the city are just going downhill fast. And apparently none of them get paved without ward capital being increased. So, I mean, what is you guys, you're the street department, what's your solution to getting these streets paved when the aldermen keep getting cut every year on their capital? And there's no money for us to buy streets, you know, and then again, we're paying for lights, we're paying for, you know, what would be your solution to that? I'll take the solution from anybody.
I don't have a solution. I mean, you've been cut, our budgets are smaller this year too than they have. We've been cut almost every year. They cut 10,000 here, eliminate positions and,
But
I
it's
mean,
it still isn't that far off of the budget, say, from 3 or 4 years ago. I can go grab my books.
it's not that far off, but
Ours
we've
is-
never
ours
been
is-
funded for
I understand, but
paving projects.
we used to get closer to 500,000, then it was 4, then it was 3, now it's 2 something, you know. So ours, if your budget was cut as much as our ward capital's been cut, you know, and we're paying for the dumpsters, we're paying for lights, we're paying, you know, I mean, if your budget was cut as deep as we've been cut, then, you know, so I'm also looking for solutions, I'm also waiting to give Pam time, yes. Deanna, go up
There's not
there.
another chair up there.
You can stay, just don't stay. Yeah, the camera doesn't catch stuff.
Please,
But I'm happy to say a couple
Sure.
words. I think, because we had this conversation a little bit yesterday with Alderman Boyd during that committee meeting where we talked about just the transportation funding in general has decreased across the nation. And when that happens, the available revenue for those types of projects is going down. And the local match is actually going up because the funds are so coveted. That being said, I think as the directors mentioned here, we've never been funded to do a program that maintains all these roads all the time. So as our budgets haven't been cut as much, ours haven't grown to take on what you have missed. So that's the challenge. As a city, the pot just keeps getting smaller. We don't have that magical money tree or funding source or tax that comes into our department to do those types of projects. Now, I did brought it up as a conversation piece yesterday during the committee, was that as a city, we need to be looking at what that source is. Because I think there's some opportunities that are out there for the city to look at some type of funding that helps us fund those types of local projects. At least get that match money, that we have some sort of funding available for whether it be public safety type projects, for these fatal type projects where we have major safety issues, that those types of projects could be funded with that source of money. What that source of money is, there's lots of options. Other things have been floated around, whether that's doing a tax district for the city county, for different areas. I know along Gravoy, they're looking at creating a TDD along that area, and something to generate that type of money so that they have funds to do the improvements that they want to do within that area itself. So there's not an easy solution. And overall, the amount of money that is collected is less, and there aren't those funds there. So hard choices have to be made.
Well, and we get, multiple, well, okay, Carol, I'll let you go ahead of me. What do you got?
I was just going to say, we have to look at the big picture. We don't have the federal funding we had before.
Correct.
We've been in a real drought here, and the economy's coming back, but it takes a while for monies to come down the pipeline. We don't, if the economy's good, we don't see that money just like in our budgets. We don't see it right away, but we gradually. So, there are things that the city, I think, should do to economize. I agree with you. Our streets are in
Deplorable would be a good.
bad repair, yeah.
There's not really much we can, most of our stuff is public safety too. You don't want to eliminate any lighting.
Well, I'm not really suggesting that we're gonna cut your budget.
Yes.
I'm just really posing the question that what we're faced with. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but I got multiple phone calls about the property taxes going up between 300% and 700%. And I did something out that explained.
And they all got that information when they got the bill, when they got the assessment. Everybody got
Well, except I think if you listen to the radio, everybody thinks the city's just taking advantage and doing that.
Well, but they need to remember they voted for these taxes too.
Well, the city has to stay income neutral. So the city had to roll back. When property values go up, we have to roll back the
Right.
taxes. And when property values go down, we can go back up. 62% of this is the school.
Yes.
The other ones didn't roll back, but out of that budget, the money collected, the city gets roughly 18%. The schools get roughly 62%. And I think the thing I sent out was a little bit more than what.
More
I could try
detailed.
to explain to everybody, because everybody thinks the city's just out there charging high taxes, trying to make up money, and we have to stay revenue neutral. So we actually rolled back the taxes so that the tax increase for the city's part, the funding is almost just very little. It's 2.1% more than it was previously, which isn't. So anyway, you know what? I need somebody to go over and get Pam Boyd. Can you walk over and get Pam?
Oh,
Yeah, because
thank you.
In Kennedy, right?
Marlene,
Anybody that has a question for this group should come over.
Yeah, she,
Marlene's and Hud's too.
Yeah, no, anybody,
Okay,
that,
okay.
you know, I just wanna make sure everybody has the opportunity.
Meetings at the same
These
time.
guys are in front of us once a year and they know they're gonna talk.
Yeah.
But I wasn't
I
suggesting.
agree with you there. The
I'm
city
just-
needs to get that out there more, that, you know, that big property tax increase. We aren't getting a lot of most of it.
Right, and that's why I put it
I
out.
believe a lot of people think that's the case.
Oh, I know, most people, that's why I put it out last night, and put it out on my e-blast, Facebook, and Twitter. You know, I would hope that our assessor should be explaining this, but, you know, it's kind of interesting, because everybody thinks now, well, we can hire more police, we should be able to do more of this and that. And the only thing I keep trying to get out is we keep going down, and people get mad at us as aldermen, saying, why isn't my street being paved? You know, and it just, it's getting, it's just getting
Yes.
harder and harder. You know, we're trying to maybe get 2 streets paved this year.
Well, I'm totally agree with you. The less it gets paved, the more it costs of, you know, the older they get, the more it costs us to maintain it. So it's sort of a double whammy there.
And I get it, I'm just trying to, I'm just trying to get the point out there that we're not getting rich. This property tax did nothing to help us. And it's not just the streets, I mean, every department out there got people cut. You know, every department had to reduce their staff. And I don't know if any of them have not.
That's what I,
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, anything you need there.
as I look through this department, I see a lot of duplicate positions. Is this what, we have 2 positions like the street and traffic inspector is here twice. One is for 102, another one is for 118,000. Well, is that 2 different positions? What's the difference in what they do?
That's lateral sewer. What page are you on, Alderman?
yeah.
From 181 to 180.
Yeah.
Thanks.
If you look at that, there's a lot of repeated positions. Look like they would put them together and they.
Yeah.
Well, some
I
are
mean, part of
partial
them are- they're
positions.
different programs,
Mhm.
you know, they're split up that way.
See, this is like a half position.
Yes.
This is 2/3 of a position. These are.
Carol, let me get a clear answer from Mr.
Okay, I'm
Ordinance.
just showing him.
There
Not hearing
are,
this
like you
back.
say, nine street inspectors, and they all have a certain area of the city. But they do both the job. They inspect their sewer lateral, they inspect the sidewalk work that's going on.
And sewer lateral is on by request, right?
It's
Can-
by need, can, you know,
Can-
if you have a sewer, but yeah.
If your sewer's broken the right way, and you either have a plumber come out and either take a video of it or show that it's broken in the right way, it'd either be the alleyway or street from somewhere in the street, tree line or sidewalk, public walk area, then the city will fix it as part of the real estate tax deal. So
What is it
$28
about the sewer lateral that the city comes so many feet into your backyard? Is that
become the property line?
come to the property line?
And we'll actually go over the property line just a little bit, just so if it does break again later, we're not gonna argue about 2 inches. We'll go over that property line by about a foot typically.
Or go to the next joint in the pipe.
Yeah.
Alderman, is that it?
Well, I want to make sure that we're not being redundant, make sure that this position isn't put over here just to pick up another $100,000. I'm sure you guys wouldn't cheat us, but our budget is so crazy until, I want to make sure there's a lot of repeated positions in there.
Currently, we have 7, the 8 being vacant, right-of-way inspectors for the entire city.
Under the street inspector,
Yes.
Yep.
you got how many?
We got a total of 7 that actually do inspections 100% of the time. So we got 1 that's with the 50/50 sidewalk program, and the other 7 with 1 being vacant, which would make it a total of 8
So Mr. Best says he can answer that for
No,
us.
the big difference is the
And I would
fund,
need you to be,
oh, they're,
because the camera,
Yeah, Joe.
That camera works.
okay, just,
no, they're funded by different funds. Some of them are funded by the St. Louis Works money, some of them are funded by the sewer lateral program, some of them are funded by general fund.
Right.
And as Mr. Rundy said, they split them up because they partially funded one area, and then some of the supervisors worked in all three, so. That's just the way it's done, we don't have enough money in general fund. And so when the program has to be funded, it's funded by whatever costs that are funded out of. So St. Louis Works and our lateral program includes the streets.
Correct.
This is all 510, then it goes.
I have one more question for Deanna.
Certainly.
Hang on, that's all this, the funding sources here. Yeah. That camera works.
Explain to me one more time, it is not sticking, how you chose the LED lights for those major streets that you put them on. They're not sticking here.
Oh, okay, sorry. So, right now for LEDs, there is, been able to take part of the traffic and lighting budget and use that. The comptroller's approved to use part of that budget for an LED loan through the Department of Economic Development, the
How do we
Division of
pay that
Energy.
back?
Through the energy savings that are in the traffic and lighting budget, those savings that are made from the energy savings, because the LEDs use a lesser wattage, those energy savings will show up on my electric bills. So the saving, the money that I'm not using for that electric bill then goes to the loan payment that is funding the capital for those actual physical fixtures.
And that loan is $1 million?
That loan is $1 million for this year, yes.
And how did you choose those streets again, like Page and my ward, Natural
Those-
Bridge?
Those streets were chosen because they, the energy savings that I had to prove to the Department of Economic Development were for the, what we currently, on the high pressure sodium side of fixtures, were the 250 watt fixtures, which are on the larger routes, higher volume routes where they're wider. Those create a larger savings. So as we were going for our first loan, we chose where we were going to receive the biggest savings so that we could see if this is going to work as a program. That being said, we chose the routes. We looked at all the routes within the city that would qualify. We, with the help of the Director of Operations, looked at where those routes are and tried to make it equitable throughout the entire city, looking at where our biggest needs were as far as the peer neighborhoods and making sure that we hit those areas for sure.
When
Hard
will
and
it
heavy.
start?
I'm sorry?
When will it start?
It started over a month ago, and since then, we've completed Kings Highway from end to end. We've completed Grand from end to end. We have completed North Broadway from the end all the way down to the city. South Broadway from downtown, we are making our way down south. We haven't made it all the way there yet. And that's where we're at. This $1 million should be spent by the end of this summer. And basically, we are putting them up faster than the manufacturer can make the fixtures right now. So we just got another shipment in early Monday. So they are out putting them back up again. So we're cranking away at doing these. It's about 5,000 fixtures that we'll be installing through this loan, again, by the end of summer.
Did you give me a map on
I sure did, Alderman. I'd be happy to send it to you again, though.
about which streets you're gonna light up?
Yes, especially in your ward, yes, I'd be happy to do so.
And what's the
No.
payoff on it, we anticipate?
It's about with the, these 250 watt fixtures, if you do a mixture, you get obviously a different savings. With the 250 watt fixtures, it's around 60% savings. So it's significant, so it's definitely
So
worth
we'll have the
the
loan
change.
paid off in, what was it,
It was
7.5
years.
years.
Yes.
And after that, then we saved $100,000 on our budget.
So if you look out 10 years from now,
Yeah.
that, you know, after these loans are paid off, you're gonna see a significant drop in those
And yeah, you
overall
said
utility
there's
bills.
5,000 lights. We
Yeah.
have 58,000 streetlights in the city, so it's gonna take a while.
It's like a 10-year process is what we're looking at. So if you remember last year, we came to the board to ask for the ability to do this type of loan for 10 years, each year, doing around, to loan up to, I think it was $12 million. So that funding was approved because in order to be able to go and do this loan, I have to have Aldermanic approval. So it is a very short time frame that we get the notice that we've got it, and we have to have the paperwork in. So once we did it, we made sure that we were able to do this year after year so that we can start to change over.
You have the lights divided by wards.
I can come up with that for you. Yes,
Now, I'm getting decorative lights in my ward.
okay.
On Newstead, between the 21st Ward, Natural Bridge,
St. Louis, yes.
all the way to St. Louis Avenue.
Yes, sir.
And they're decorative lights. And we
Yes, sir.
also put in for a grant for the Martin Luther King strip from Vandervenner
Yes, sir.
all the way to Euclid or Kings Highway.
Yes, sir.
Will any of those lights be LED? Can those decorative lights be LED?
Those are supposed to be LED, yes. So all the new projects that are getting installed are going to be LED so that we're all green across the board. So, yeah, they were making sure that they pick a fixture. There's lots of different looks that you can get, but they are all pretty much now making them into LEDs, yes.
Okay, so we want to make sure that because my project's been on for about 3 years.
Yes.
And those decorative lights that I chose don't look like they can handle an LED light.
Oh, they can handle it. There's different attachments on the inside that we can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be looking forward to that.
Great. Thank you, Alderman.
So, Alderman Moore, if that's it, I'm gonna move on to Pam, although I had one comment, just as we were talking about all that. It had to do with the recycling. It was, I swear we heard the same thing about all the money that was gonna be saved and, you know, by the recycling. And once the new dumpster's in place, that we wouldn't be using ward capital to have to pay for dumpsters. Yet, I'm still putting between $30,000 and $50,000 a year. What happened to all the savings? Nick, maybe it's a good question, would you mind answering, what happened to the savings? Yes.
You know, I'm gonna be honest, I hear Todd say this pretty much every time this question gets asked. Back in 2010, when this program was started, the Chinese were buying up a lot of recyclable products that you could go and resell to companies that would then go and put it into China, but China just doesn't have the demand that they used to. Their economy hasn't been growing at nearly the rate that it was 5-6 years ago. So that's part of the reason why the recycling program hasn't paid off the
Yeah.
way.
The other reason is the Chinese got very strict about what they would accept. We'd send a barge over there, they'd look at it and say it's not clean enough, and they'd send it back. So the value of the recyclables, if they're perfect, in other words, there's no contamination, it's still good, but unfortunately, our recycling is not as clean as it needs to be.
Joe, who is this well-dressed young man and this distinguished gentleman?
He works in
I work for the budget division, my name is Jeremy.
And what do you do?
I'm a budget analyst, I work for Paul Payne.
And who's the distinguished gentleman sitting next to you?
Oh,
Mr. Bench, you know.
No, I know you.
Oh, Nick Young? He's a refugee garbage man.
You garbage man, moving on up to the east side. All right.
I'm gonna move
He
on.
hasn't
Just-
spoken yet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let Pam, because Pam hasn't had the opportunity. So, because Pam's new, could like, Nick, why don't you introduce yourself, just the heads of the departments.
Yeah.
Nick Young,
Nick Young, Refuse Commissioner.
so his number, I can tell you, is,
I know his number. I never talked to him, never saw him in my life.
really,
In all the years I've been doing this, I didn't know he existed for real.
Usually when I call that number, I just want, to be honestly, I've had pretty good luck getting hold of Nick. Steve Rundy, Steve, explain what
Street
you do.
director, yes,
Oh, yeah.
And all these people actually work under you.
correct.
Right.
Ms. Nick Young, Ken
I
Clay.
know everybody, I know Kent, my angel. I know all of the people over here.
Now, that's the first person I ever heard him called an angel.
He is.
He's got a
He's
point.
my angel.
Joe, who's the boss? When is the buck stop? We got commissioners, we
Well,
got,
I think it all goes to Steve. I mean, he's the one that sits on the mayor's cabinet,
Yes.
you know.
That's my
So I'm gonna let Pam kind of, so Pam, you got an idea, refuse, streets, traffic and lighting, the big boss. So feel free to ask any of them anything.
No, the only thing, my question was, and I'm kind of like Alderman Moore in regards to the lights. Because Alderman Gregory Porter had the ornamental lights put in. And our challenge has been, they don't work. And it's always a piece of it that doesn't work. It might be like a whole block, 2 or 3 lights, you know, and I'm continuously calling, or the domes to the entrance to the streets, like Partridge and Lay Light, those streets, those bulbs go out. So my first question is, and I think I asked this question before, how do we correct this? The answer I got before, well, I have to pay for it. Why I have to pay for it? And they've been out for the longest. Is something wrong with the lights? That's the first question. The second question I have is, if we're gonna change to the LED, will those lights be changed out, which might make it better for us to have the lights working?
So, a couple questions you just had. So the decorative lights, it's not something that we are budgeted for as far as replacement of them. They have special poles, special fixtures. There's about 50, 75 different fixtures in the city of St. Louis, so we don't keep them in stock. That is something that's extra, that the alderman at that time agreed that they would fund it and maintain it as part of their budget. We, as far as the crews, we have the ability to certainly, if you want to fund that, we will buy the pole for it. We will transfer those dollars out. And we will go and install it and do all the labor that's associated with that, change the bulb, fix the circuit, whatever it takes to maintain that piece. But if it does get knocked down or hit by a car or something like that that takes it out, that we don't keep those poles or fixtures in stock. So that, those funds do need to come from your budget then, or the alderman's budget, where's where it's in, to maintain those. That being said, LEDs, as you heard from Alderman Moore here, were you here when we were talking about it? So that we are switching to LEDs on some of those as those projects come through. Now, the decorative ones, they would have to, we can give you a price for what that would cost to change those out. It certainly is cheaper as far as the electric bill, but it does have a little bit of cost to either get an adapter in there, or when we change the whole fixture, if one gets knocked down, we can purchase the LED version of that. So that's the way that we can go to LEDs. You think you had a question about lights out?
The dome, it's not the lights out, it's, see, and I had asked that question in the capital budget hearing before, and you said, well, you have to pay for them if they knock, I said, they're not knocked down, it's nothing happened, they just don't work.
Just the lights out.
Right, the lights just don't, and it's a whole block, but it's just 2 lights that just don't work, and then the dome, the light just, and so, at home, my thinking is, the light blew out. And so that's why I kept saying, well, why am I paying all this money if the light bulb just blew out?
So 2 different things here. When it's an entire block of lights out, it usually signifies a different problem.
Right.
That a circuit was cut
Right.
and it knocked the whole block out. So
Right.
that's kind of a separate problem. An individual light out could have various problems associated, whether it's a light bulb burnout or the fixture has.
But that's what I'm waiting on,
So-
because you all said Alderman Boyd will go look,
Yes,
then we'll let you know.
yes.
And I never
And
heard.
it was last week.
Right.
So they're
Yeah, that's
taking a
what I'm
look at
trying
it. They've been busy changing out some other signals right now, so they will go out and check that and see what the actual problem is. And we will get back with you on that.
Okay, and then
Yes,
the
ma'am.
dome, like on Partridge, as you enter the street.
Is it like a
it's two-
monument?
And
Uh-huh.
then one of the bulbs are out.
Give me that location.
That's at
Partridge?
Partridge and Riverview.
Okay.
And, I mean.
Yeah, if it's just a bulb or a ballast, they'll fix it, but
Yeah.
Right,
if it
and
needs
you
a
know
whole new
what?
fixture, they'll let you know. Hey,
Right,
somebody-
and I do give you, I do compliment you because, I mean, we've had issues where we've had blocks that were out.
Yes, ma'am.
And when I call down the street, and they'll walk me through, and they'll say, this is what's getting ready to happen, and this is how long it'll be. So I compliment you because the person in the emergency section, they respond and they try to make it happen. It just bothers me that when I see blocks out, and that's telling me, as she said, somebody cut the line, something happened that caused that to be like that. But I think my pet peeve is, and it's just me, when I ride down Riverview, I want all the ornamental lights to be lit up. I want it to look nice. And it's all but 2 little lights. And I'm like, what the world with 2 lights? So that's just my issue.
We'll go check those lights and see what the problem is and if there's a cost associated with that. And we'll let you know if it's something we can fix internally, and we'll get it fixed.
Okay,
All
thank
right?
you. That's all I
And
have.
for future, because I know it is all new, if you have an address associated with it, or like this at Riverview Partridge, the domes, that's very helpful for our folks, otherwise we're kind of hunting
Right,
for that
right.
light. You have my email, feel free to email me, text me. Or if it's over a weekend, Citizen Service Bureau is great. They're running 24/7. The call comes in, our dispatch is looking right
Right.
there, and they send the guys out that are working that weekend.
Yeah, because normally I just tweet it and they pick right up.
As long as if you copy in the STLCSD, their handle
Right.
on that, they will immediately make a report out of it.
Yeah, they do.
And that's
They're fine.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Sometimes if it's just us, then it's whenever I get on Twitter to
Right.
look at it.
Yeah,
if you
but no,
copy
I
it in,
didn't see
they're
it.
looking at it.
Now, my question, now, this is what you said, Deanna, if a light is knocked down, then I pay for it.
On the decorative side,
But on the regular street light,
yes, that's
I
on the,
don't pay for it.
correct. You
That-
just let me know if you see
Okay.
one, yeah. 'cause
Okay, I'm just trying to get clarity, so I have in mind, it's new, and I'm just
Yeah,
trying to put
absolutely.
everything together. Okay.
Absolutely, and so, yeah, we count on you to be those eyes and ears too, because
Right.
as the director said, we have 58,000 lights, so
Right, that's
we
fine,
can't
that's
be everywhere at the same
fine,
time,
yeah.
so,
So you
yeah.
answered, that's what I need
Great.
to know. Thank you.
Yeah, here's a hand tweet.
A hand tweet. I love hand tweets. Are these decoratives or
No,
the regular
I have
standards?
no decorative lights yet.
All right,
Those are down by a car.
So, Tina,
got it, we'll take care of it.
I was gonna mention too, because I know I do this, if you dial that 647-3111 and hit 0, they have people who will answer even if it's midnight.
24/7.
Yeah,
we
they
have a
will.
dispatcher there
So,
24/7.
And I usually just tell them, if I see
For
a
lighting.
blinker or whatever, it's
Right.
easier, what's on my mind.
Yep.
Does anybody have any other questions?
I just can't get Ken.
So, seeing no other questions, thank you guys for coming out,
Thank you.
and meeting's adjourned. And, just remember tonight, the Ways and Means meeting will be tonight at St. Mary's for the public
St.
hearing.
Mary
St. Mary
St. Mary Magdalene.
On South
I'm
Kings
sorry.
Highway.
On South Kings Highway, yeah. They showed it 4924
Thank you, Randy.
Bancroft, I guess that's. a-
Well, that's the
I'm sorry.
address. The street address is Bancroft, but entered from
So,
Sutherland.
Which is a lie.
it's 6:30 tonight, so please make sure that we adjourn
Board people are
tonight.
there.
Yes.
Yes.
It's gonna be-